Wars, irrespective of the countries involved, come with the destruction of lives and properties. An economy without a formidable financial stand will find it difficult to defend its territory in times of war, making it vulnerable to even more crises. And this is usually the case when a smaller nation is pitched against a perceived superpower, as it's been in the case with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This makes it understandable why Ukraine has been severely hit from every angle in its quest to avoid defeat at the hands of Putin and his forces. Surprisingly, Ukraine is not giving in to Putin's army, and this has been at great economic cost. You may be wondering just how Ukraine is able to finance the war with a superpower like Russia. Well, in this video, we've detailed just how Ukraine has been able to finance its ongoing war with Russia, despite the badly battered state of its economy and its completely depleted international reserves. This is one video you want to watch till the very end, so keep up. Before we jump right in, make sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell to receive updates on when we post more historical videos like this one. Do leave us a comment as well, as we'd love to read your opinion on the present state of the war. Now, let's get right to it. Ukraine, a nation famous for its beautiful and diverse landscape, has lost significant value to the ongoing war due to Russia's invasion. The destruction caused by this conflict has taken a huge toll on Ukraine and left the country with a colossal reconstruction responsibility. A wide financing gap has been imminent for a long while now, especially due to export and tax revenue collapse. According to the IMF, Ukraine's economy had about 14.3 billion euros in balance of payment deficit as of June 2022. As a result of this, Ukraine's government is left with no choice but to make tough financing decisions. Currency devaluation and debt deals are a few of the steps taken. These are urgent measures to provide funding required to make up for the deficit in its defense and security budget. That was happening when adequate support was not forthcoming from military backers. However, that would not continue without help from international bodies and countries. Sometime around March, Ukraine was granted $723 million by the World Bank as loans and grants to equip the nation in its fight against the invasion. This was a swift response from the World Bank Group to assist Ukraine amidst the excessive disruption caused by the war. The World Bank's support included a $350 million loan and an additional $139 million from Sweden and the Netherlands. The package also comprised $134 million in grants from 5 countries, including Britain and Iceland. A series of funds were likewise approved by the United States Congress 5 weeks after the war started, in support of the Ukrainian people and government. Ukraine received $30 million in military aid, which did not include humanitarian support. It also excludes the expenses incurred by the US when troops were sent to Europe due to the crisis. The Ukrainian government further received $800 million from the US government in different batches to face its oppressor. Initially, the financial support was structured and planned to sustain Ukraine for a few weeks. However, due to the uncertainties of war and the establishment of the fact that the war would last for a much longer period, the financial aid was restructured to last up until September. Another approval of $40 billion in May made it the 6th aid package from the US after the Russian army's first attack on Ukraine. The breakdown includes $19 billion for instant military support to equip the Ukrainian army to stand firm against its opposition, $3.9 billion for maintaining US forces deployed to support Ukraine and $16 billion was set aside for economic support. Recently, the executive board of the World Bank approved $1.49 billion as additional finance to support Ukraine. The funding was backed by guarantees from Britain, the Netherlands, Lithuania, and Latvia. Italy and a few other European countries likewise made contributions via a new multi-donor trust fund that was set up to support the government operations amidst the crisis. The World Bank has continued to work closely with donor countries in providing adequate support to Ukraine towards limiting the devastating effect of the war on the land. Social workers in Ukraine, in collaboration with the government, are likewise doing everything possible to revive the economy. 7 of the world's industrial democracies specially donated $9.5 billion in non-military support to Ukraine. At the time of the announcement, Ukraine already had about $20 billion in total aids received. These funds were largely used in stabilizing the economy and preventing it from declining even further. Ukraine is likewise able to adequately manage the destruction caused by the war, although the living conditions of many Ukrainians remain rather appalling. Many families have become highly exposed to the looming poverty, making the need for even more donations rather urgent. The Central Bank of Ukraine has been completely incapacitated and has for long been unable to provide the needed funding required to sustain war resistance. Fighting against Russia's invasion would not have been possible if Ukraine hadn't gotten all of the financial aid it's received so far. With Ukraine's already high spending on military actions, it becomes necessary that finance for non-military purposes be generated externally, as Ukraine is completely unable to generate internal revenue at the moment, and its external reserve is now completely depleted due to the war. In a bid to generate some revenue internally, the Ukrainian Central Bank purchased government bonds valued at $7.7 billion and engaged in a series of money printing exercises shortly after the war started, and despite understanding the risk involved. It became an expedient short-term measure taken by the government in steadying the war-ravaged economy. Several countries and international bodies continue to offer significant support to Ukraine in the face of the increasing demand for humanitarian aid by the Ukrainian people and the call for more military support by the Ukrainian government. As of the end of July, €1 billion became due from the EU in additional funding for Ukraine, although this is not without negative implications for the foreign reserves of Ukraine. But with all donated funds completely utilized, the government of Ukraine has had very little choice than to burn its foreign reserves even further towards financing the war effort. It's evident from the details stated so far that Ukraine has been financing the war from different sources. The Central Bank of Ukraine and other state-owned financial institutions have played a significant role in supporting the fight against the invasion. However, the war-ravaged economy would not be able to hold on for long without support from external sources. The United States, Britain, the Netherlands, Latvia, Lithuania, and Italy are a few of the countries that have offered long-term support till the war is over. War demands finance, and an economy without a solid financial background will struggle to keep up when against a powerful oppressor. If the funding continues, Ukraine will have no reason to succumb to the Russian invasion. That will empower the economy with the finances required to manage the destruction caused so far.